Our recording. We're live, people. I am so happy to be here, and it's so good to meet everybody. And feel free if you have questions during the presentation, interrupt me. Okay, I love answering questions because librarians, that's what we do. We answer questions all day long, every day. And I'm going to give you some resources that you may or may not know about the library. Okay, and so I am going to share my screen so that you guys can see what I see. And if you can't see it, just feel free just to say, hey, what do you see? Okay. And I'm going to move the camera a bit. Everybody can see my screen, Kelly? Is it looks good? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's get started. Why is the Michigan Library better than Google? Let me start by giving a little background information, if I can, on me. So this is who I am. I am Marna Clowney Robinson. My official title with the library is Graduate Student Engagement Librarian. What that means is a lot of different things. It means I connect with every grad student on campus to get you linked in to the services that the library has to offer. I'm also a lecturer with the School of Social Work, and I am a clinical social worker in private practice. So I wear lots of different hats. But I love the work that I do with the library. That's why I continue to do it. Okay. My contact information is here. I will also have it at the end because you can make an appointment with me just by clicking on the link if you need to talk more about some of these resources. Because my job is to get you linked in so that your academic career goes the way you want it to go. Okay. And make it as easy as possible. So one of the things I always tell students is your M card is kind of like a master key. It is your key to unlocking a lot of the resources that the library has to offer because that's your library card. Some people don't know that, some people do, but it allows you to borrow anything that we have that we allow to walk out of the building. It gives you access 24/7 to a lot of our buildings as well as access to a lot of the resources. And the 24/7 means not just building access, okay? And I will kind of preface this a little bit. You get 24/7 access when the library's open. When it's not open, don't try because they won't let you in. Because you will email me and you'll say, it's not letting me in and you said I had it. It's only when the library's open. But the 24/7 access means you have access to a lot of the resources anytime you need them online. Okay. You can reserve study rooms and access to production studios and training. Okay. And I'll go into that a little bit later. One of the sites that I want to point out, we have created sites just for grad students. If you are a student, if you are an instructor, we have a specific site that you can go to, and a lot of the information that I'm going to cover today you can access from this site. Okay. And I will include a copy of the slides at the, to Kelly and her people so that she can get it to you guys. But a lot of these resources you can find on this webpage. And we specifically put it together just for grad students because we know how much information you need to be successful. And we just pulled all the things that we felt you needed right there in front of you. So you can bookmark this page. It takes you to all of the different areas within the library. Okay. So just a little bit background information about the library. We have over 14 million volumes in our collection, over 300 languages represented. We are the second largest academic research library in the United States. Okay. We used to be fourth. We are now just behind Harvard and we're catching up. Okay. We want to be number one. But that's a lot of information available to you. And that's an important thing to remember because not every institution has the amount of the available, excuse my tongue thing there. Not a lot of institutions have access to all of these resources that you have access to. As a student, you have access to all of these, okay? Which includes special collections, and different archives. Clements Library, Bentley Historical Library. There's also special collections within Hatcher, as well as some of the smaller divisional libraries like Fine Arts and Music. We also have a papyrology collection. A lot of really, I always say old stuff that's really cool to look at. Just a little fun fact, whenever I give a tour on campus, I always point out Robert Frost's desk because we have that at the library. Because he used to teach at the University of Michigan, but we have his actual desk in our special collections on the 6th floor of Hatcher. So go check it out. Just don't carve your name in it, please, because wouldn't be good, right? But we have a lot of just really cool stuff to look at. Time saving. Yes, you can go to Google and you can search. It may take you anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, maybe longer. Whereas U of M resources, 2 to 3 hours, because we actually give you full text access to a lot of our collections, a lot of articles, a lot of journals, a lot of books. We also have a lot of peer-reviewed resources. There's auto generation of citations, and we also have access to a team of people. And I will just say I am a member of this team that provides citation help. We support Zotero and EndNote, and there's 4 of us on the team, and we know the ins and outs of all of these citation tools. Okay, Google doesn't have that. Sometimes you'll find full text articles on Google, but most will be behind paywalls. And then you'll say, hey, I looked this up on Google, I can't get it. And I say, go through the library and you can get it, right? Because your unique name, your password unlocks that door for you, right? Sometimes the sources that you find on Google aren't credible. It could be made up. Basically, a lot of times you'll have to manually cite your citations. And sometimes you got to track down those PDFs, which you go to our catalog, you can download them immediately for yourself, right? So it saves you time. Another thing is it's limited to the scholarly journals that you have access to. The library has over 14 plus million at your fingertips. You don't even have to leave your house. There's on Google unreliable biased sources. There's no citation management tools. There's again the paywall, as well as information overload, because it just throws a lot at you. And sometimes some of it comes from AI, which may or may not be valid. With what we have specialists who look at these materials and we handpick them for the different disciplines so that you have these sources that you need that are credible. Okay. And each unit on campus, each discipline, there is a specialist librarian that is there for your discipline. Okay. Which is very cool because not a lot of institutions have that. Michigan has over, last count, I think 170 librarians that we basically are experts in a lot of the disciplines that the U of M has courses for. So we know the material. Fun fact, if you need a book that we don't have, your specialist can lots of times buy it for the collection so that you have it. Okay. So if you're looking for something and it's obscure and you think, oh, I'll never get it, ask the librarian. A lot of times they'll buy it and put it in the collection. Okay. Research, dissertation, thesis support. We have support for all of these. Okay. You're doing research from the research page, lit reviews, help with database searching, citation management setup. Then we go into the writing phase, formatting phase, publishing phase, all of those different areas. There is someone there who can help you so that you're not having to take that time out of your studies to try and figure it out. Okay. We are right there. And I'll show you how to get in contact with your liaison, as well as a fun little, and I'll try and do a demonstration of Ask a Librarian, though they told me not to do that anymore because it overloads them. But I like doing it because it's fun. So there we go.
Do what you gotta do.
We we have specialized databases, subject specialists again. advanced search tools, extensive collections on all of these different disciplines, research guides. I cannot express how important those research guides are because we put them together. We update them pretty much weekly so that the latest information is there, the latest resources are there. And I'll show you a little bit about where those guides are and how to find them a little bit later, because it's very important, because a lot of times you can find where we've already done a lot of the searching for books that could help within those different areas, like for different papers. There are some research guides that are tailored just for different classes. So we've already done the legwork for you because we know how important it is, and we know your academics are very important. We want to make sure that you're not spending a whole lot of time doing the work that we've already done. Then, premium research databases again, Web of Science, JSTOR, ProQuest, Scopus, ICPSR, all great databases, have lots of information that can help with your research, that can help when you are preparing, if you are going further in your academic career for doctoral studies, for prelim work. It helps with, doing those thesis and research papers that you may be doing, as well as if you're teaching. A lot of these databases are going to be helpful with finding the material that you need for anything that you need to do at the university. And I'm going to take a sip of water, if that's okay, because for some reason it's really hot in here. Again, we've got advanced research strategies that we can sit down and work with you, starting with, hey, let's go to the research guide and take a look at it, right? Let's apply our database filters, because there's a way when you get to a database, when you're searching, to narrow it down so that you don't have 5,000 plus resources. I've been working with a team on a scoping review, and we did a search, and one keyword search that we did produced over 15,000 sources. So we had to narrow it down, and using those database filters helps with that. Requesting material through interlibrary loan. We can't, if it's out of print or it's very rare and we can't buy it, sometimes you can request it from another institution, which it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. They will get it for you. You pick it up at the library and you get to use it usually for the entire semester. Okay. Basically, citation tracking, consulting with the specialist, all of these tools are available to you. All you got to do is just reach out to us. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I go through, a lot of my colleagues will come and we will share these resources with you, because we don't want you to have to do a whole lot of tracking down how to do something. We want to make it available to you ahead of time to make your academic career kind of go as smoothly as possible. Citation management tools. As I say, we support Zotero and EndNote. We have specialists who know, and I will say Zotero just updated. So if you use it, it's up to 8 now. We know when you are getting to the point where you are writing and you are citing and you're using one of these tools. If you have a problem, you just shoot us a message. We follow up with you and we sit down and we walk you through it. Okay, we can help you set it up. Both are pretty good. And like I said, these are the two that we support. There's others out there, but for the most part, these are the easiest ones that we have seen. There's some that are, a lot have AI bundled in them, but the two that the university pretty much is saying that a lot of researchers are using is Zotero and EndNote. And just a hint, Zotero's free, so it's kind of a cool one to kind of use because it goes with you. EndNote you got to pay for. So data resources and services. In our Clark Library, which is on the second floor of the Hatcher building, they have specialists that can help with those data services like geospatial data. They can help you look at data using maps and graphics. They can help you pull all that together. There's also Deep Blue Repository, as well as the Library Data Grant Program. And what that is you have access to data sets, and sometimes you may need additional funding to get another data set that isn't available. There's a grant program. The library will purchase that data set, and then you'll have access to it. Because sometimes the data is behind a huge paywall. Sometimes companies will have it, but they just won't release it unless you pay for it. We have a program that basically you just put your name in there and they'll choose which ones they can invest in, because we want to make sure you get the information. The other source is ICPSR to get a lot of the data. We will walk you through how to pull that data out and how to look at it. And looking at data sometimes is very overwhelming. I love statistics, but I don't like doing it. Somebody just came in. I just admitted them. So there we go. I do. I love statistics, but sometimes sitting down with a huge data set and trying to pull out that information is a little overwhelming, even for me. We have specialists who can do that for you. Okay. We also have a huge government data specialist who can sit down and give you access to a lot of the databases that produce some of the data on communities, cities, populations, all of the things. We also have another librarian that if you are looking for grant money for further research, we have a grant specialist. All you get, his name is Paul Barrow. Tell him I sent you. He will know when I send people to him. Okay. But he can help you find money to do the research that you need. He can help you find money for a lot of different, I guess a lot of different things that you want to do as far as your academics goes. And he's really good at it. There are specific databases that we use for our grant specialists, and he will point you in that direction. We have study spaces. There are study spaces if you want individual study. We have Carol's in Hatcher. There's a huge reading room where, heaven help you, if you go in there talking, they will make sure you're quiet. There's collaborative study spaces throughout the library. We also have individual, what we call pods, but they're soundproof. So you can go in there and you can, if you have a class that you need to meet with and they're just available, you just check them off using our site where you can book them for yourself. And we also have some computer labs. We have all of the printers. So if you are printing something from home, and I highly recommend, if you don't want to waste your money on some ink, if you don't have a printer, you can send it to the library ahead of time and just go over there and just release it. It doesn't print until you release it. Okay. Which is a really cool feature, because I've done that where I've printed out a paper and then I just walk over to the library, hit the button, and it prints it out for me. Okay. And those are throughout any of our library buildings. Shapiro Design Lab. Now, these are some of the fun things that the library does, because we have a lot of stuff. Okay. We have a lot of books, journals, pictures, maps. We have a lot that we have to offer. We also have some fun things. We have a design lab where you can do 3D printing. There's also letterpress, a lot of tools that you can use to be creative. We also have software to help design things. We have our data visualization software. We have 3D and graphic design software. We have animation tools, game design software. These are things that you can use within your academic programs as well as just to relax. Okay. And I didn't include a slide on this, and I just realized that we also have a video game library. I think it's the only one in the United States that exists in the academic area. But you can go, it's on the 4th floor of Shapiro. You can go over there and you can play video games. I don't know if they'll let you check them out though, but you can go and play. I love video games. They have all of them. They have everything from Atari, Sega Genesis. I don't know what that other one is called, Dreamscape or something like that. They have that, to PS5, Xbox. They also have the VR systems. They have pretty much everything, which is why I believe we are the only one that has this video game library, and we have computer games too. Very good for if you're designing something or if you just want to relax. It's a great place to be. We also have our media production studios. We have the Weinberg Audio Room. We have the video production room. We have the Pearlstein Room, and the Duderstadt Center has also studios over there. If you're editing film, if you're recording something, I have seen students use the podcast studio to hold interviews with people. I've seen students use these spaces to do professional interviews for jobs. All you have to do is take the online training that goes with it. Then you can check out the key and you have access to all the software. I used it last year. I helped with a film, and we needed a space to be able to do some video editing. So we took it to the video production room, and they had the latest software that we needed to be able to edit this motion picture, and it did come out in the theater. So I think it's on Tubi now. So don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I am a motion picture producer because of the help that I gave with this using this space. And all of these rooms are in the Shapiro Library. And as I said, here's the training guide. You just go through the training. Then you reserve the space when you need it, check out the equipment you need it, and then have at it. These are things that you can do to advance your academic career as well as ways that you can be creative as a student. All available, no cost to you. Part of what we do is we like to have access to us as much as possible, right? And I pointed these two out. One, we talked about earlier about finding a specialist, and I've included links. And for example, if you click on, let's see, I don't know if I can pull it up on this screen. I may have to pull up a different one. Yeah, it was going to take me to something else. But it takes you where you can plug in your discipline, and it'll say, okay, what do you want to search by? I can put in education, and I know you can't see this, and I can try and show you this after we get done, and we're almost done. But if I put in education, it gives me a list of all the specialists that basically are your education specialists, like Ann Elias, Karen Downing. All of these people are education specialists within the library. But you just put in the discipline that you're looking for. These are the people that can help you with your research. If you're having problems and you can't, okay, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to search for that, they can help you with your keyword search. They can help set up your research in a way that it's not going to take you a long time to kind of figure out. Some people have figured it out and they love doing that. But these are people, the specialists are the ones who can order material if you need it. They can come and they can sit down with you and help you do those, research things that you need done. The other one is Ask a Librarian. Now, Ask a Librarian service is actually live people. They are not AI. We are not robots. We are there basically all hours during that the library is available. Okay. Usually we close at 9 o'clock at night, but it is a live human because people think we're not real. And this is where they tell me not to do a demonstration because it just bogs down the system. But you can ask them anything. I need help citing this. I need help finding this. Can you help me with my research search terms? They can provide all that information. They can also link you in with your specialist if you need that, right? They can help you find books. They can answer a lot of questions that come up for you. And they're there all the time. You can call them. You can use your phone to chat with them, and there's somebody there all the time. I usually cover a shift. I think it's on Thursdays. It's on my calendar. It pops up. But Thursdays I cover a shift. And like I said, we are real live human librarians who are answering these questions. Okay. And I can't stress that enough because some people actually honestly think we're just robots, but we're not. Okay. Because a robot can't point you in the direction that you need to go. They can give you general information, but all of those little nuanced questions that you may have, a real librarian is going to be able to help you out. Okay. Um, Self care. This is very important. As a mental health professional, I believe in being able to find time for yourself is extremely helpful. And I've added this slide because we have the Ask With Media Library. Okay. And basically, what that is free entertainment access, movies, TV shows. We also have music. We also have audiobooks. Basically, our Canopy streaming has over 30,000 films and documentaries at your fingertips. You don't have to leave your house. We have DVDs, Blu-rays. We even have VHS, where I don't know very many people who have a VHS player. I think I do, somewhere buried in my basement. But they have a viewing station if it's something that you need to watch for a class, or you can check out the DVDs and Blu-rays. Cost you nothing. Okay, you just got to bring them back when you're done. But this is a great way to have like a couple hours where you're just like, okay, I'm going to disconnect from some of that research stress that I've been doing. And I'm just going to watch a movie. Or, like I said, play a video game. We have those tools built in for you. And we subscribe to pretty much everything. So we have lots of access to lots of stuff. Okay. I think I'm gonna open it up to questions. So because I love answering questions, I want to know what questions you have. Because when I was putting this together, I was like, I need to know what they want to know. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing. And then Kelly, I'll make sure you guys get these slides. But somebody ask me question, please.
Thanks so much.
No questions? Yeah, you're welcome. I know it went a little fast. I tend to go into hyper speed when I get excited about talking about stuff, especially within the library.
Well, I
But
think most important is that there's so many good resources. So I
mhm,
appreciate it. And if anything, we'll be able to give some people some time back in their day here in a bit. But feel
yep.
free to write something in the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask a question. I
Yeah,
tried
I
to
had a
add.
question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Abigail.
Yeah. Um, so you talked a little bit about like the different websites with resources for grad students and for instructors too, because like a lot
Mhm.
of grad students are instructors as well. So I was curious about like what resources specifically you have for instructors.
Mm.
Yeah, if you, and let me put this in the chat. I think it's already in there, but I'm gonna put it in there again. So if you go to that web page at the bottom or in the middle, it says information for instructors. And what it has, it provides you with how to request things for your courses. Like if you want materials, books available for the courses that you teach. We also can help with adding things to your Canvas site. We can help with course design, which is huge because not a lot of places will do that. We basically have a specialist who knows Canvas inside and out, and they will sit down and say, okay, we're going to basically help you put your course together. Okay. There's also copyright services. So if you want to use something for your course, but you're not sure if copyright is you're violating copyright rules or whatever. Well, I guess they're laws, not really rules, but we have a copyright specialist that basically can help. We also can also provide uh, basically clear copyright so that if you want to use a film from the Ask With Media Library or any film that if we don't have it, we may get it, we can clear that copyright so you can show it in your class. But there's lots of like accessibility things that we do. We also have, and I think I'm going to show you these guides because I know I said I'd show you this slide because we have a guide for academic integrity. Because as an instructor myself, it is plagiarism is a thing. Okay. And basically we have guides for that. So I'm going to share my screen again.
Mhm.
And let's see, let me make it a little bigger because I can't even see it. So off of our library, just the general library page, right? if you click on, first I'm going to show you how to find your liaison. Research and scholarship. Here's your find a specialist. So like I said, I did, let's say, education. You just type it in. It pulls up a list of all of the people who do education. And you notice there's medical education, music education, engineering education, general education, physical education, and interprofessional. There's lots of people, right? And if you are looking for somebody specifically in health sciences, you just click the link and it pulls up just the health sciences team, right? The other thing is from the same page under research and scholarship, use research guides. These are the guides that we have put together on different things, right? And I always tell people just go to the broad academic discipline, type in what you're looking for, and I'm going to put in Zotero. And let me make it bigger because it's a little tiny. We have all of these different guides that come up. Okay. How to back up your library. And a lot of these I created, right? Because I'm one of the specialists for this team. But you just click it and it takes you to that page. If, let's say, you wanted to do, I don't know, let's do psychology. It pulls up what's new in psychology, reference and background, popular self-help books. And a lot of times, if you click on it, they give you links to different areas underneath the discipline. And these are updated on a weekly basis. We make sure all the links work. We also provide different resources that may be helpful for your research. And this is something that a lot of the instructors will use, and they will point students to it. It's a really easy way to be able to say, okay, I need some information on this. And I always tell people start with the research guide because there's probably a guide that was created for the specific research that you're looking for. A couple years ago, somebody was looking for something on social justice issue, racism. We created a racism guide because we didn't have one at the time. And the one that we did have that had some, it was very old. So we just updated it. Okay. And like I said, these are something that we have honed and we've been doing for decades. And you can filter by subject just by going over to the subject side, like government and law. Let's just limit it. Let's see what we get. Here are all the databases so that way you're not hunting through the databases. If you know what area subject you're in, we pull them up. So it makes it a little easier for you. Okay. And that's the beauty of the guides. Okay. But like I said, the grad page, if you just type in grad, it usually is the first one that pops up. Information for grad students, middle of the page, information for instructors. Okay. And all of these links, like for example, if you wanted to do information requests, you just click it. It walks you through how to do it. Okay. We try and make it as easy as possible. Okay. Did I answer your question, Abigail? I think I may have. So,
Yeah, that was really helpful. Thank you.
wait, you're welcome. Any other questions? Let's see. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask if there's a process to gain access to journals online that the university. Yes, there is. And that is a very good question. We have, if there's a journal that we don't subscribe to, all you got to do is send your liaison an email saying, hey, I need access to this journal. 9 times out of 10, they will try and get access to it. Sometimes it depends on the vendor, though, because sometimes the vendor will say, no, we're not selling you access to our database. And sometimes the articles within that journal are available through ProQuest. Okay. But, excuse me, if you send them an email, they will look into it and they always follow up. Okay. That's a very good question.
Sorry, when you
Yep.
say liaison, do you mean like the person that's assigned to your kind of subject as the
Yep. Your
specialist?
subject specialist.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And they're real good with, and basically sometimes it helps them know what people are looking for. If they know, then they can spend time making sure that we have things in the collection that match what you're working on. because we want to make it as easy as possible, like I said.
Yeah, no, it's super
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. Any other question? Who else has a question? You're welcome.
Mhm.
I love chat. It's amazing. You guys are like, what's happening? It's in the chat. What else haven't I talked about? There's a lot. Like I said, there's so much in the library that one of the things that I don't know how many grad students are preparing because we're entering, I always call it conference season. Okay.
Mm.
Because a lot of the conferences usually start to pop up around this time of the year and later. If you're doing a poster presentation, the library can help you pull that together and help you print it off. Okay. We do it a lot because we do a lot of presenting. We like to talk. But basically, what we do is we sit down with you and we lay it out for you according to the standards of a lot of the different conferences that we've attended. And a lot of times, the liaison or subject specialist has attended that conference and presented at that conference. So they know what it takes to make sure your poster is done right. So if you're preparing to give a presentation or a talk, you can talk to somebody, and if you need that help. And we also have, there's a big plotter printer we have over in Duderstadt as well as in Angel Hall. You can print it off. So,
That's
which is
super
pretty
helpful.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very helpful. Yeah. I didn't know that until when I was a grad student. And then I was like, oh, yeah, we do have that. And I worked at the library. So yeah. But it's really good. So, any other questions? I know it's a lot of information, and basically, like I said, I'm going to send the slides over. But if you have other questions, and especially if you don't have any now, you can email me. You can set up a meeting with me. I always answer my emails, and I'm always available. Pretty much 27 days a week, 24/7. But I do take a break to play video games myself. So there we go. Yeah.
What's your email address? Or I can throw it in the chat.
clownem@umich.edu. And no, I did not give that to myself. The university gave it to me. So yeah. Yeah,
So
but it is. It's clownem@umich.edu. Feel free to reach out. On my page, you can set up a meeting. If you don't see anything there, just shoot me a message, shoot me an email. Sometimes my schedule is a little bogged down, but I always find time to meet with you, and I try and make it around the time that's convenient for you. Not for me, but for you. Okay. I like to do that. I know that you're busy. I know what it takes to be a grad student at the university because I was there too. And anything that I can do to make it a little easier for you, point you in the right direction, link you with the right person, that's my job. Okay.
That's perfect. Any other questions or anything before we let Dr. Clowney Robinson go?
You guys are quiet. This is kind of cool.
In the chat, they're saying, thank you. This is very helpful. Really appreciate you. I learned a ton about the libraries. I'm a newer staff person here, and I have the card too, so I get to use resources, which is super helpful
You
as I
do.
plan
Yes.
programs and curriculum for y'all. So
Yeah.
yeah, super awesome.
No, it is something that a lot of people who are staff don't know they have access to, but you have all the access that students have as well. So yeah. I mean, I know some students will do book clubs. We will help you get those books for those book clubs. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
which is very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.